Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about the downfall of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals were really good in the 2021 season as they made it to the Super Bowl, but sadly lost to Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams in a crazy back and forth game. The Bengals had very high expectations coming into the 2022 NFL season had they just made the Super Bowl prior to this. This season went pretty well for them as they went 12-4 and were dominating the league, and even beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Week 13. At this point, Burrow was 2-0 against Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they had just beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills 27-10 to make it to the AFC Championship game. At the end of the game, divisional round game, players like Eli Apple said, "See y'all at Burrowhead."
Yeah, baby. Let that sink in your mind. We'll see y'all in Burrowhead.
Even the mayor jumped in on it, saying Burrow needs to get tested if he beats Mahomes to see if he is his father.
Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Burrowhead Stadium for their second consecutive AFC Championship game. Whereas at last year's game, the Bengals scored more points than the Chiefs, resulting in a Bengals victory and a Chiefs loss. Whereas Joseph Lee Burrow, who's 3-0 against Mahomes, has been asked by officials to take a paternity test confirming whether or not he's his father. Whereas all season long, Cincinnati has been on a path of destiny, fighting it out to overcome anyone who stands between them and a Super Bowl win. And whereas Kansas City is named after its neighboring state, which is, just kind of weird. Now, therefore, I, Aftab Purval, Mayor of the City of Cincinnati, do hereby proclaim January 29th, 2023 as They Gotta Play Us Day in Cincinnati. Thank you.
There was a lot of hype going into this AFC Championship game, the Bengals versus the Chiefs. This game was a very back and forth game, but it came down to the fourth quarter. They were 20-20, and the Chiefs just got the ball back with a great punt return by Sky Moore, and that put them in a good position to try and get in field goal range and win the game. Mahomes takes the snap and goes into the pocket and starts rushing down the right sideline, where it all went downhill for the Bengals. When Joseph Osai pushed Mahomes when he was out of bounds, giving the Chiefs an extra 15 yards and a go-ahead field goal to make it to the Super Bowl. And Harrison Butker nailed the kick, and the Bengals were sent home. People thought the Bengals would bounce back, but that did not happen. The Bengals were 5-5 and still looking for a spot in the playoffs. In Week 11, the Bengals season really ended there when Joe Burrow got hurt against the Baltimore Ravens, injuring his wrist. Although Jake Browning and the Bengals did end up having a winning record, 9-8, they still didn't make the playoffs. The Bengals didn't look the same as they did in the season prior to that, but maybe that's just because Joe Burrow got injured halfway through the season. Going into the 2024 NFL season, the Bengals were expected to make it to the playoffs, as Burrow would be back leading a healthy offense. Joe Burrow absolutely carried this team, with that offense averaging 27.8 points per game. And with that, you would think, oh, the Bengals made the playoffs, no problem. But not so much. The Bengals defense was awful, allowing 25.5 points per game and selling in huge moments, and had nothing special about that defense, besides Trey Hendrickson, but he could only do so much. They ended up going 9-8 with a hot winning streak towards the end of the season, but it still wasn't enough as the Bengals did not make the playoffs. Going into the 2025 NFL season, the hype was there. Burrow would finally have a fully healthy season and lead the Bengals with Chase and Higgins. Sadly, it wasn't a fairy tale ending for the Cincinnati Bengals as Joe Burrow was injured with turf toe in Week 2 against Jacksonville. And just like that, Jake Browning was that QB. He ended up going 1-5 and got replaced by a fossil of a man, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco did play better than the Browning, but ultimately it wasn't enough as the offense sucked and the defense sucked too. The Bengals ended up 6-11, and the Bengals haven't been the same since the championship loss to the Chiefs, and maybe that's because of injuries or bad coaching, but the Bengals went from a top contending Super Bowl team and now a fallen team with a great QB but no future. This is the downfall of the Cincinnati Bengals. Thanks for watching.